Well, good evening. It's Robert A. Wilson with Cowboy Wisdom. Tonight I'm going to talk about how I knew my parents, but I never understood my parents. And that is something I really expanded into, well, actually just about 2 hours ago. So anyway, as I go through this, I'm really starting to understand. I tried to think, why weren't my parents rich? Why weren't my parents this? Why weren't my parents that? My parents were perfect for my journey forward. And that is something else that I really opened up to expand of. See, my parents give me something I didn't ever understand. They give me a work ethic and integrity to move my life forward. And that is where my life really expands as I move forward. My parents were a guide. They weren't supposed to take me everywhere. That was up to me. My parents actually give me everything I ever required to expand. But I was selfish. I'm going to admit that right here. I was selfish and I wanted to be like all the other people. I didn't have the guts to go through life experiences to expand. I wanted everything easy. And when you want everything easy, it's going to turn out sleazy. When you're willing to appreciate and expand through the events of your life will move forward. And tonight I'm talking about my parents. My parents are in heaven looking down at me and said, it only took you this long to figure this out, but I actually did. Because my parents give me everything required for me to succeed, but I wanted it given to me. And how many people are blaming their parents for their situations in life? Parents are parents, and they're on their own journey. They give me everything required. But here's something else I really opened up to. Today I opened up to understand I have everything inside me to expand of wealth and success to move my life forward. When I opened up to appreciate my parents, I opened up to love my parents. And I got to admit today, I knew my parents, but I never understood the dynamic good and the greatness of my parents. But yet I have to look back and say I learned some things that I brought into my adulthood from them, and I taught myself to react in situations just like they did. That's the way they reacted. That doesn't mean I have to react that way. They showed me where I was blocked in there. And how do you go through life in situations doing exactly like your parents? And how did you pick up more of what you disliked from your parents than you loved about your parents? And I did that. And the biggest thing I'm going to admit to everybody is I didn't listen intently to their true meaning of my parents. And I know they're looking down on me today, but I know I didn't appreciate and love them as much as I should have. And I'm going to tell everybody who's got alive parents, don't wait for they're in heaven looking down upon you. But one thing I can say is I set myself free today when I understood this all, that I silently and subconsciously did things like my parents. And how your parents looked at money, how your parents looked at other people, and how your parents talked about other things in the household are embedded subconsciously without you realizing that occurred. And I've done that. But in the last 5 years, I've opened my eyes to understand I had a lot of occurrences going on in my life that were the same. Then I had to realize it was me unwilling to see and expand out of that situation. And how have you blamed your parents for not having enough money? And I feel very fortunate. I had to work while I was in high school to make money. And I realized today that was a blessing. How are kids today afraid to get dirty? How's this country afraid to get dirty? And how many people think they're too good to do, well, the menial, well, not menial jobs, but starter jobs to move forward? Everybody thinks today they should start at the top. And how is that the limitations of the world? One thing I can say for me is I went through the oil field, and I went through the apprenticeship as an electrician, and through my personal growth. The beginning stages is where I never paid enough attention within me to expand, because I thought I should have it easy. Well, I did have it easy. I made it hard. Life is easy. Our thinking and everything we desire, want, and need, we think we need, causes a heartache and the pain of our lives. So as I open up to let go of this and understand, I am the facilitator and the participant in my life. I am the king and the queen and everything in my life, but it's the keen wisdom within myself that will open up and allow me to move forward. So how do you do things you don't like in life, but it mirrors your parents? And in relationships, I was just like my parents. Good, bad, or indifferent, I was like them. There's no right or wrong anything. It's just how is the I guess the only word I can use is negative things your parents did still with you today? And how are you afraid to let go and live beyond your parents and live a better lifestyle? How do you feel you're a traitor if you live a better lifestyle than your parents? And that is something I've had to deal with, because I embedded their work ethic, but I forgot to use my wisdom to expand forward. And my age people, the baby boomers, their parents come out of the 1930s, the dirty 30s, and the World War II and the Korea War. And that embedded a very poverty consciousness, because there was never enough money. But what we didn't realize in that time is they were all together, and they had probably more family time and had to trust the family more than we did today. How is the distrust in the family today the part of the challenges and why we're having our prisons be full of people? So where in your life do you distrust your parents, and what do you do with that your parents did that you don't like? That's subconsciously embedded. So when you do that and you open up to seeing where you really, really do what your parents did that you don't like, but also where in your life do you do what your parents did but you don't do it as well as they did? Because see, we're really still under ancient parental controls, because ancient anger, ancient everything is very prevalent today. But how do we lack the communication skills to talk to children as individuals? Because we're all individuals, and we only are never going to accept everything the same as somebody else. That is where I really fell down. And I'm going to admit to the world, I was never a very good listener, but I was a good know-it-all. And that's where I stalled out in life, as a know-it-all stall. You crawl through life as a know-it-all, but when you listen, you glisten of heart, hearing, wisdom to expand your life. And that's where I opened up to today. If it's, me, myself, and I is all I require when I listen to the metaphors and the tutors of the world. Me stands for majestic, enterprising. Myself stands for maverick, jazz, savvy, energizing, lively, far-seeing individualism. And that's inside me. So when I see me, myself, and I ready to fly, I understand I've unhooked the books. I've uncooked all the raw emotions. And now I've opened up to the natural optimism, wonderment within myself. So as I see this world through my eyes instead of my parents' eyes, I see the wise in me, but I also see the wise in my parents. Because I was afraid to see the wisdom of my parents. Because that would have been acknowledging something rather than understanding the wisdom. See, there's a big difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is what you know. Wisdom is an inquisitive intuition to open up that innovation within ourselves. So as I walk forward through life today, it's all right to live above your parents. It's all right to let go of everything you dislike about your parents, but it's also heart expanding when you open up to the grandeur of yourself that's internally. Everybody encompasses appreciation. Everybody says do this through love, do that through love. You're never going to love everything in life, but when you can open up to the appreciation of the event, you can expand the vibrant, entertaining, new, trend-setting vitality that's within life. It isn't about tradition. Life is about writing your autobiography of your dreams, allowing yourself to daringly revolutionize eternity, appreciating the moxie within yourself. So as I open up to this and really starting to allow myself to expand and quit feeling sorry for myself because my parents weren't this, my parents weren't that. My parents were individuals and they were to be loved as that individual. I was the one that was stuck in the muck of feeling sorry for myself with jealousy, selfishness, and a whole bunch of dark farces that everybody has. People, we are the WMDs of our life. That's a weapon of mass delusion because we can pollute ourselves with all the paralyzing words, paralyzing ideas, paralyzing everything because it didn't go exactly my way. The biggest lie in the world is waiting for somebody else to do it for me. And that's why we're waiting on the politicians and every outside source in the world to do it for us. And that is a dream-stealing life we've lived. We've been taught to be, I better change that. We've been enslaved with controlling ideas, and we must be controlled and stay within society's way of living. That is the biggest dream stealer life has ever seen. Society keeps you locked and blocked in yesterday because we want to stay safe in our little paralyzing prison we created inside ourselves. The key to be free is in inspiration, intuition, imagination, wisdom, innovation, and cutting the ties of history. History is misery. When you untie the lies, you fly. A futuristic lure. Yesing, I'm a blessing of brilliance to expand the world with rainbow resolve to evolve into whatever I desire to experience. It's being willing to experience the events that will expand you into the dreams. And our parents were taught my parents were taught from the 30s. And to me, to say I understood what they went through would be the lie of a lifetime. And I never took time to understand how the 30s affect the world yet today. But we're still locked in two things in history that will never let us go. One is the Civil War, because we've never expanded out of racism, and racism is inside me. It ain't out in the world. Everything is inside me. and the 1930s. And then we come into the 60s to the entitlement programs. And that is where we're stuck today. Everybody's entitled. And we're afraid of the wisdom and the innovation and the gut gallantry that we all encompass. So when you're willing to step up to the pageantry of percipience within yourself, you'll always expand through life. You're up and above the fray of life. You're up into the felicity of electricity. You're turning on your brain power and your brain prowess, because we all have the ability to do and experience anything we desire. It's our limiting thoughts, thinking, and trying to be safe and stay inside the lines of society. Society is a dream stealer. And if you ain't being ridiculed and made fun of by society, you're not living big enough or bold enough. And if you're the talking at the water cooler, you're the fool at the water cooler. But if you're the topic of the water cooler, you're the cool, classy one everybody wants to emulate. And that is the thing where when you unhook the past, appreciate and love your parents, and understand where you followed the stuff that you didn't like they did, but that was embedded inside yourself or inside me. When you understand you do that, you can cut that loose, you start cruising through life with a candor of revolutionary wisdom. And that is the thing about life. Wisdom will always win. Knowing keeps you in a snow job, basically. You're being snowed by yourself. And you're blocked and locked and blocked in a snowbank that goes clank. So when you're willing to let go and just appreciate your parents and see your everyday life, open up the doors for you to soar out of your situation and into the desired life. You can live on the villa you can live in the villa on top of the mountain of money, overlooking the ocean of opulence, to dance your dreamers dare through every phase of your life. But it's really understanding how your parents still control your life, even though you don't think they do. Because everything is embedded beyond the thinking mind, and the thinking mind comes from the memories and everything you embedded. So when you open up to see how you did what your parents did and you don't like it, then you can step out of the doubt and onto the dance floor, because the world is ready for the people to dance. We got to let go of the Civil War, the 1930s, and let go of entitlements, because you're only step through out of the entitlements into the enterprising energy of yourself and show the world you encompass the wisdom to walk into the winner's circle with a lavish cascading cash flow that you deserve, because you stepped out of depth forevermore. Thank you. I am Robert A. Wilson with Cowboy Wisdom. I'm a hypnotherapist, NLP practitioner, timeline coach, published author, got a radio show on Blog Talk, and I do 2 Facebook Lives a week. And my website is mycowboywisdom.com. There is a free meditation for you to download there called the $10 Million Meditation. And my email is robert@mycowboywisdom.com. May everybody's weekend be fun and enjoyable and relaxation. And I'm going to say good night, and I want to thank everybody for being here.